so welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are well. So today I do have two products to showcase. One of them is a review and one of them is just something fun. So I have got a new palette here. Well, I don't know if it's new or not, but I've not really tried this company out before. This company may be associated with just the UK. I'm not sure. You'll have to correct me on that. If it is, then you might find something similar in your country that you can use to maybe do this video. But this is the W7 Lift and Sculpt palette. Okay, so I saw this in my local supermarket and I thought to myself, let me try this because I've never tried W7 before. This is the Face Shaping Contour Palette, Cream Contour Kit. So it's literally, it has all the shade on the back as well, look. This looked pretty good, and to make it even better, they are approved. They don't test on animals, which is pretty good. This is not an actual like paid commission, by the way. So as we open it up, it's all brand new. We have the little slip here, so I haven't touched it yet. As you see, we have got the highlighters right at the top, and we have the contours on the bottom. There's different shades. I think there's that's like a more olive tone to me. Then you've got the bit more orangey kind of brass tone, and then you've got the actual bronzing tone, okay? So, and then the highlighter as well. I will showcase all the colours for you today so you can see what they look like if you are wanting to get yourself this palette. But either way, if you're able to find something similar, you could always follow along. So I'm just going to swatch some of this and see what we get out of it. So the really brightest one, let's have a little look. I don't know if you can see that. So as you see, I'm sorry about the lighting, but that's kind of pigmented. If you think about it, like, that's quite pigmented, that is. And then you have the second one, which is a bit more of a kind of orangey, bright tone, in my opinion. So you have the kind of, that's more like a whitish colour. That's really bright, actually. That's really bright, thinking about it. And then we have the darkest highlight. Let's see if I can swatch this on here. So that's more of a foundation match there. So like if you're doing a foundation, you just want a slight hint of highlighter on your face. That's the kind of one that you'll use. But if you're doing your makeup and you want a really kind of defined highlighter or, you know, brightening cream, that one is like literally going to make everything kind of like bright as hell. Let's swatch the bottom ones now. So as you know, in my previous videos, if you have watched them, I'm a fan of cream contour. I love it. I use it all the time. So this is right up my alley. So let's go with this one. This is called bronzer. This is actual bronzer toned, which is probably the one I'm going to use the most, if I'm honest with you. But it's quite pigmented. Let me use my other hand or use the back of this one. There we go. Okay, so that's definitely kind of a bronzy tone that you'll usually get in many stuff. It's quite pigmented as well, so you probably only need a little bit of it. But that's kind of like, I feel like with this one as well, like that would be so cool when you contour, but you might want to use like a little bit at a time, because I feel like maybe if you use too much, it might look a bit muddy, if you get what I'm saying. So next we have contour, the next one. So this is like a more, you know, kind of earthy, maybe a bit more orangey toned here. So let's see what this looks like. Oh my god. So yeah, that's just a little bit more lighter, a little bit more kind of, that's quite nice actually, I'm not going to lie. That would be good to put on like as a foundation, then put something on top, you know. This one's a bit more kind of like, I'd say a bit more orangey. It actually looks a bit more summery in my opinion. And then the last one is another contour. Oh no, this is the bronze one, I got the wrong one. So this is the bronze one. This was a contour before. I think it's the other way around on the screen. That's why I got a bit confused. So we have the actual bronzer tone here, which is probably the one, like I said, bronzer is usually the one that I go for the most. Okay, so this is not too far off the previous one. As you can see, it's got a subtle tone of like kind of an earthy kind of bronzy tone there. I feel like my favourite is definitely going to be the bronzer one, but then I'm actually interested in this one, you know, the one that's kind of a bit more warm. I don't usually use stuff like that, like the warm tone mirror in here. If you did want to use it, you know, if you're using it on the go, you can just literally look into it, do your makeup, and then, you know, if you wanted to do that. But obviously I'm going to do it for the sake of the video, straight on the camera for you guys. So I have got a little brush here just to paste it on. You don't have to do this, but it just makes it easy for you guys to see it and for me to place it. So I am going to do what I usually do with contour, and I am going to place it where I usually would place it and see how it turns out. So I feel like I want to start, I might start with a warmer tone. This may look a bit like we're going to have to do kind of experimentation here, because all these colours might not be that good on my skin, but I'm just going to dot it on like this, very so slightly. As you see, like I'm not doing a big harsh line, but I need to put some on. So I'm just going to put just a little bit of this so we can build it up. So as I said, I'm using the middle one here. Just going to paste it on a little bit. I don't want to do too much just in case it turns out a bit muddy. This is just literally like my first impressions with you guys. Now this actually might work out quite good, because I feel like the middle tone is kind of like the one that most people use. It's the one that kind of like sets the tone of your face, but also like it's a very warm, not so powerful one. So you could wear this every day if you wanted to. I'm going to do my nose as I would as well. It may look crazy at the moment, but so yeah, as you see, this gives that, it gives it that natural look. This is what I call maybe a blush brush, or maybe like a small one like that. We could try this first, but this might be too. Maybe not. It could work. We'll go with it. I usually use this, but I want to give it a fair chance for you guys. Now, usually in my own videos or my own life, I would use the same brush, but for this sake of this video, we'll just use a clean one. So we have just a random, I think it's where is it? Does it say? It's the Mange Brush 19, I think that says. So this is the one that you can use with, you know, powder, blush, whatever. So it might not be the best for this, but it's actually kind of blending out quite good. Can you see the colour? Laura, you ain't got a stroke, man. Okay, so we blended a little bit out. Can you see like how it melts like butter in a way? And it's got a slight hint of the colour, so it's not too bad. This is going to be perfect for your everyday look, as in like for work, for going out with friends, or even if you just want to chill around the house, it doesn't matter. But this is like a perfect kind of like, it's got the subtle hint here. Now I will add a bit more over the top in a minute to showcase like if it's buildable. I'm liking it. It's got like it's so subtle, you have to really look into it, but it gives it that nice kind of natural kind of the natural look. Perfect. Okay, that's the first layer. You can actually see though, if you look, you can actually see natural like shadowing coming from this product. Like you can see the extension on the eyes, you can see the slight colour on the cheeks. So this is perfect for the person that loves to have it a bit more natural, or maybe that people don't realise you're wearing makeup. So I am going to go with the second round of this so we can see if it's buildable here. So I'm going to go with the same product, the one in the middle, which I haven't. So I'm going to go. So I'm going to go with the same product, the one in the middle. I'm just going to do a second layer as I normally would. I'm just going to literally just push it in myself to where I want it. So we're going to stay on the high points of the cheeks to kind of accentuate that like we did in the previous video. We do a bit more on the eye. So I'm going to do a second layer and see if it's buildable. Right, that's just a subtle glow. As you see, we've got a subtle kind of contour, which I'm actually loving. I would rock this every single day. But now we're going to step up a bit. So this one is for people probably that want to be more contoured. Yeah, so we have... Let's try the next one we're going to try before we try the bronzer itself is we're going to try the other contour. This is the end one here. So let me make sure I'm getting it right. Yeah, this one. So this one is the next one up. This one's a more olive tone. So as you see here, it's a more kind of olive toned, a bit kind of darker in a sense. So we're going to give this a try for people that may want to go with a more olive tone bronzer here. So as you see right off the bat... As you see right off the bat, we are dealing with a bit more pigmentation. It's definitely a bit more like earthy toned here, you know, a bit more like pigmented, so we won't need to. But the other one I wanted to showcase that if you do want a natural look, you know, and you want to build it up and make it more kind of prominent on your face, you know, it's definitely going to work. So I'm just going to finish up, put it around my face. But you can use, like, for this contour palette, which I'm going to use quite regular now, you could use the light one first and then this one, or the light and the darkest one, you know, you don't have to use just one. So as you see, look, we are actually developing the colour now. So we have, this colour is more pigmented, but it still gives that kind of earthy tone here. So these colours are suitable for like even the olive one, like it just gives it kind of like a more bronzy kind of look. Like I'm really hard at explaining stuff, but you guys know probably what you guys can see it. But I haven't done my eyebrows either, so this is going to be purely face today. So as you see, we have that kind of lift there going on our temple area. I always give an honest review because you have to be honest as a customer. You know, when you're purchasing a product and you're reviewing it, you've got to be honest. You can't just definitely got to try it out. So I am actually loving this for a more natural look. So I usually use the Barry M in my previous video, which gives you that ultra pigmented bronzy glow with just one swipe. It's pretty good. This one is buildable, so this one is definitely going to be used, but it's going to be more of a natural look for me if I want a natural look. But also they're going to be very buildable. Now you can add more to your face. I'm just adding a little bit at a time, just to build it up in sections, because I was kind of worried in the first instance that if I put a big thick line on or something, it won't blend out as well as it should do. But it's not the case with this one. It literally is blendable. It's really good, and it's really creamy as well. So as you see now, we've completed the two colours. So the first one was quite a subtle, natural look that you can wear every day with just a little bit of mascara, or maybe just like a little bit of, you know, lip gloss or something. This one, second one, is a bit more bronzy, it's a bit more olive toned as well, a slightly bit more warmer. As you can see now, we've got a bit more warmth, a bit more earthy tones in our face, which I actually love as well. So these two colours that I've used now are probably for people that want more of a light bronzy tone, a bit more tanned look, or maybe something a bit more natural. I'm going to go into the final colour now, which is called bronzer, and it is the darkest of the three shades, as you guys can see. Here is the shade. It's still kind of, it's not the darkest of darks, but we're going to see how it looks on our skin. This is quite kind of a more bronzer look. So the bronzer you're going to classically get in makeup, it's going to look a bit more kind of, a bit more stronger, I would presume. So I'm going to try this out. So again, I'm going to go into that with my brush and I'm going to paste it on my face. This one, we're going to see if we can build it, but I reckon this might only need one application here. So as you see already from me putting it on, you can definitely see the difference in tone here. I'm going to put on the same amount as I did before. I like to do it as high as I can. If you guys are wondering why I'm putting contour near my eye, you can go and watch my previous videos, especially the first one that I ever made, which was my base makeup, and you can see why I do it. This is personally how I've always done my makeup. I do actually develop different ways as well throughout the years, because, you know, I don't just watch, I sometimes watch YouTube videos as well to see about people's personal tips. But over the years, I've just literally like practiced and practiced and developed my own kind of like way of doing stuff, which is the best way to do, really, because every face shape is different. Like any influencer you see online that's like doing videos about makeup, you know, they will showcase how they do it, but realistically, the best way is to find a way for you. So we have fully put it on like we did normally. I'm going to blend it out now. This looks actually not far from the Barry M. The Barry M is slightly more darker. So this is the one that I usually use, drugstore makeup, okay? So this one, as you see, is quite dark already. This one is, as you see there, it's definitely darker than that. So that's what I usually use naturally anyway. So for me, this is definitely more natural. So I'm going to blend this out as I would do any other. Already, from the get-go, this is definitely more bronzy, more pigmented. So this last colour will be something that maybe you'll finish it off with like I'm doing, and it can give you that really kind of like bronzy look, maybe when you want to go out on a night out or do your makeup a bit more snatched or whatever it is. But this is definitely for people that want that more pigmented, you know, look. It's just so subtle and gradual that, you know, people would be like, oh, what did you use? Oh, I used like a W7 palette, and it's like, it cost me like, I think this one cost me, if I remember, this one cost me about a tenner or less, if I'm honest with you. This is very cheap for a palette. Obviously palettes nowadays ranging from, you know, certain prices. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember how much I paid for this actually. I think it's less than £10 if I'm honest with you, because W7 isn't an expensive brand whatsoever. This is still a drugstore product. This is still a product you're going to get at a drugstore, so it's I think this is definitely below £10. I will have to put it into there and see for you guys at the bottom if you are interested in getting it, and I will showcase how much it costs for you guys. The Mange Flat Definer Brush 13. So it's just a very flat one. So I'm going to, like I said before, I'm going to try, do you know what I'm going to do this one? I'm going to try the very less pigmented and go to the top one, because look, this one is bright as hell, okay? We're not going to use that straight away because we're going to kind of mask the rest of them. So I'm going to go with the last highlighter, which is the more kind of, I think it's the one that matches your foundation the most. Let's have a look. So I'm going to just put that in like that. So I want to add the highlighter down the nose. Yeah, it's like, it's not far from my foundation colour, if I'm honest with you. For some other people, it might be pigmented more so, but I'm going to go with the least one here. So usually where I place it, we want to place some on our jawline, just to define it a bit more. But what I usually do here is I define it like this, because for someone that like me who has like, you know, I'm a bigger girl, so, you know, to contour, you know, I always do that to kind of give myself a more face shape. I am actually going to fill this in today and give you more of a, there you go. It looks crazy, doesn't it? So I am going to put some on my lip area. As you see though, this one's so subtle. This one, like, before we went with the lightest to the darkest, this one at the top we're going for the darkest to the lightest, because when it goes to highlighting, if you put on the light one first, it's going to mask the rest of them. Right, I want the, so the middle one's already done. It's very subtle though, like you can barely see it. I am going to do just a slight contour here as well. I don't do my under eye that very often because, you know, in previous videos, like I stated, I get really bad under eye creases, and for some reason I can never get rid of them. Even if I try all the techniques that people say, it's something that I can't do. So I think it's just my genes, you know. So a little bit in the forehead for me, because I don't like to have my forehead too bright. But I just want to put a bit on so I can showcase the product. So again, yeah, this is probably buildable as well, I would have reckoned as well. So a little bit on the nose just to blend it out like this, because the nose, I don't like it when it's just too orange. I like it to be, you know, because it's not natural to me. Right, chin area is very important for me. because I get a lot of, you know, blemishes there and stuff. So I'm just put a bit on my chin, and then we're just going to blend it up like that. So you guys might contour your face different. If you are a bigger girl like I am, you might find it easier to contour and add kind of depth like this. You know, you don't have to, but it does add a bit more. I might actually add a little bit of highlighter to the brow bone as well, because it actually adds that kind of lift as well. Number one, okay, these are just like kits that I get off Amazon, so you can get any type that you want. I go through brushes like all the time, different colors. So it's not really a set brush that you should use for this, but something a bit more fluffy like this, quite small this time. We're just gonna blend this out and see what it looks like. So as you see, we're already developing that kind of like, this is going to be more natural because this is a very, very natural highlighter. As you see here, we can also put in some more contour to blend it in a bit better, but as you see here, we're getting that lift now. This is the next one up. So we have, let me make sure I'm getting it right. That's the highest one. So this is the second one. So this is still light, but it's still got that dark, that kind of like warm tone to it slightly. So this would be perfect for a step up as well. My face is going to look really ultra highlighted because I'm using 3-in-1, but you can use whatever you guys like. So I'm going to do the exact same because I'm going to give it a slight fair chance here. This is going to be definitely the next one up, so we're going to put some on my nose just to balance that out a bit. We're going to put some on my eyes. So this is going to be my face is going to look like so bright after this. And then normally would again. Stop and put a tiny bit more bronzer just on my face, as you can see, just so that we can kind of test it out properly, because obviously me trying different highlighters is going to make my face look so bright, but the second one, as you can see, has given more of a lift. It's given more brightness to my face, so this is definitely a step up. Now the highest one here, this doesn't have much else pigmentation. It's like literally bright. It's quite like it's slightly yellow toned as well. This is the brightest one out of the three, so let's see how this is going to look on my skin. Oh yeah, already, look at that. Oh my god. This is going to be the brightest of brights. Kind of like extravagant look. Again, I'm going to put it in all the places that I used before. Okay, my final thoughts on this palette. So I will link the price down below once I have a look for you guys, but this is going to be affordable drugstore makeup. This palette I would give a very high score of probably 10 out of 10 for me. I'm only giving it a high score because it's very creamy. All the products are basically the same consistency. They're very creamy. They are very easy to apply. They're very easy to blend out, and they're very buildable. Now, the last two shades I showed you, the lightest and the darkest, is for when you want to have that more of a contoured look or highlighted. You can go straight into the bright ones or straight into the dull ones. But overall, this palette is very good for what the money you pay for it. This is a drugstore brand, so it's not expensive, but for what you get and for what you can do with it, this is actually quite good. I will be using this on my daily videos now, because I really do like this product. So I will be doing some more looks in the future with it. But yeah, as of that, this is a very good contour and highlight palette, so I would highly recommend it. Apparently you can actually powder with you know, baby powder, which is something which is kind of weird. But I've seen this before, like ages ago, years ago. Some people were trying it. I wanted to try it and see if it actually works, because I'm not saying you should use baby powder to powder your face, but what if, like, if you didn't have powder one time and you had baby powder in, could you try it? Could it actually work here? So you don't have to use a certain brand. The brand I do have is Johnson's, which is a brand that many people have. I do know that Johnson's baby powder was associated with some sort of like ingredients thing that went on. Apparently some of the ingredients were a bit too harsh. This one is the cornstarch based one, so this is the bit more, this one's the actual good one of the two. So I think the first one, I can't remember what the product was, but they had something in it which was a bit more like harmful to the skin. But since then, they have released the new products with the new ingredients. So you can use whatever baby powder you want to if you want to try this. This one is the one that I use. It's got cornstarch in. So I have done my research, and this is safe to use for now. So yeah, Johnson & Johnson. So I'm going to put some on my... I've got a little, like... I have a lot of paint stuff. This is like a palette, random. I'm just going to put some on here because I don't have any kind of lids. I'm going to put some on here. Now... This is going to be messy, oh my god. So as you can see, we've got my baby powder here. I'm going to try not to like get too close in case it goes everywhere. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to use a beauty blender. I usually use my little powder puff, but I want to use this for you guys because a lot of you probably have a beauty blender. Some of you may have brushes. So I'm gonna set my face with baby powder, and I'm going to see how it feels. And I already am talking, it's going to go everywhere. I want to see how it feels and how it kind of like looks on the skin, and see if you can actually use it as a powder if you ever needed to, which is kind of a fun thing to do. I'm going to give it a couple of coats just so it's not too damp, but it's a little bit moist, so we can actually do this. Because obviously, like, there's nothing wrong with using like dry beauty blender on your face, but I feel like sometimes it can make it kind of too dry. So to take my beauty blender, I'm going to powder. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's pigmented though. So I'm just going to dab off the excess, and I'm just going to do my under eyes. Now you don't have to do it like this, but... Oh wow, can you see already? This is going to be quite a subtle one. So yeah, as you can see, it's like really bright. Okay. So if you didn't have no setting powder, you could realistically use baby powder, let's be fair. If you didn't have none left. People will probably going, oh, but it's probably too harsh on your skin, or your skin might break out. Maybe. The thing is, this is just literally for me to experiment, because not only do I want to do, you know, try different makeup out, it's interesting to try different products that you can use, because if you think about it, you know, not everyone has certain products available, you know. We're going to do the same little bit on the forehead here. It does look a bit dry, but I'm going to see what it looks like once I put it all on. So I'm just going to put this on. It does get a bit kind of, as you see, it's a bit messy, but it's kind of fun. Do you know what though, already, like, it does feel a bit dry, but I'm going to put some setting spray on top of it and see how it actually lays. Oh my god, look at that. Oh my god. So realistically, listen, yeah, I know this is a fun kind of video here, but you could realistically use baby powder if you didn't have anything in your home. I'm not suggesting you should do, because you know I'm not a beauty expert. I'm not a makeup artist, so I can't give you tips and tricks and say like this is going to do on your skin. But for me personally, I'm trying stuff out, so maybe you don't have to, or maybe if you want to, that's your own personal choice. But for me, I'm just going to see how it looks, and it looks like a, oh my god. So I'm just going to put it in areas that I would usually like want this to be. Put some more on my eyes. So I will say this though. First of all, it does give that kind of brightness look. I mean, it is. It's very messy, obviously. It does. It's a bit drying though, so it's not really meant to be used for the face. But you know, it's still cool. Let me get a brush to brush it away. So let me use one of my powder brushes, and I'm just gonna brush some of this away. I'm not going to let it set for too long. I just want to see if it's actually going to actually set on my face at all. So overall, the first experience of this is like, it actually don't feel too bad. Like, do you know when your face starts to feel too dry? I feel like this could literally be, you could use this if you needed to. I'm just gonna wipe do this in my face. Oh my god. So I have spritzed some setting spray, and what I'm going to do is just do what I usually do, use the back of the Beauty Blender, and I'm just going to press it into my skin and see how it wears, I suppose. I am actually going to wear this and see how it wears. I'm not going to joke. I'm not joking with you. Um, I'm not going to use baby powder forever for my face, by the way. I use the Maybelline Fit Me one, which is my ultimate one that I use at the moment. But this is just a fun little one for you guys. Um, so it's very messy. It's actually quite fun, I'm not going to lie. So it's not too dry, and once you put setting spray on, it actually isn't too bad. So this is as close up as I can get. So my face, you know, I'm probably going to put some more setting spray on, but it can be a little bit drying, so I wouldn't recommend it for your everyday makeup. But this is a kind of fun thing to do, as in like a, is it like a dupe to face powder? I would say personally, probably not. But if you ever was in a situation where you didn't have no face powder, I mean, baby powder would be the next best thing, let's be honest. So you can find your own ones in your own brands. I wouldn't recommend it for everyday use, okay? And again, I don't recommend, you know, I don't know how it's going to react to certain people's skin. So if I was you, just take it as it comes. This is off your own back with this one. But personally, for me to try it on myself, this is working well for me. I wouldn't wear it every day, but it definitely does what it says on the tin. And also, I mean, the product's not too bad. I mean, it says ingredients: sea maize, cornstarch, tricalcium phosphate. So it hasn't got too many products in, but it's meant to be gentle, refreshing, natural cornstarch powder, protects delicate skin from rubbing and chafing, and it's free from dyes and stuff like that. So, I mean, if I didn't have powder in, I would, you know, use this. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, I wanted to try it because people were using it before, and I thought to myself, let me just try it and see, because I'm interested to see if it could actually be, you could actually use it for makeup as a fun thing. And to be honest with you, like, I wouldn't recommend it for everyday use, so don't go rushing out buying powder unless you really want to try it. But you know, it's a fun thing to try, isn't it? So it's definitely a bit more dry into your skin. So if you've got really dry skin, it's probably not going to work unless you use kind of loads of setting spray. But I mean, it has set my eyes. I need to do my eyelids as well. But yeah, this is just a fun video for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the contour palette. I hope you enjoyed the little fun thing that I did with baby powder. If you want me to review any more products that you personally have seen, that you want me to try, let me know in the comments. If you want me to try any more fun things like the baby powder, let me know in the comments. Also, hit me a follow button if you have any questions or comments. Don't hesitate to hit me up. Also, I will be posting again very soon, so I hope to see you in the next one. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.